My daughter's 15. Mom passed away from cancer 5 years ago. She left her a gold necklace that I kept with me till my daughter reached 15. I gave it to her after she expressed wanting to keep it, and only wears it on important occasions like her mom's anniversary and birthday. My current wife Lisa is like a second mom to my daughter. They get along very, very well, and they almost have the perfect relationship. Thing is, Lisa started commenting on my daughter's necklace several times, which was harmless, but I got the impression that she wanted it. I talked to her about it and the importance of it, thinking she'd get the message, but I was shocked to see her wearing it one day. I asked her and she said she asked my daughter to have it and my daughter gave it to her. I was mad. I told her this didn't belong to her and insisted she give it back. I then talked to my daughter and she said the reason she gave it to her was because Lisa asked and she didn't want to tell her no. I told her it's okay to say no sometimes and that this was from her mom, a precious sentimental item that she finds comfort in, so she needs to keep it safe. I thought that was the end of it, right? No. Last week we went to my in-laws' house and I noticed Lisa wearing the necklace again. I kept muttering, "The duck is the deal with her." I wanted to wait till we get home to talk about it, but I couldn't hold my tongue and flat out asked her why she has my daughter's necklace with her. She looked at me and said that my daughter gave it to her on her own. I looked at my daughter and she didn't want to talk till I pressed her. She told me that Lisa told her that since she's like a mother to her, then she should let her have the necklace. I was dumbfounded. I got up, walked up to Lisa, and told her that what she told my daughter was ducked up, and again, this necklace isn't and will never be hers. I demanded she give it back, and she started crying while taking it off. Mother-in-law tried to get involved, but I told her it was none of her concern. Dinner was cut short. We went home and I kept the necklace with me, then put it in a lockbox. 2 days later, Lisa came to me ranting about how this matter is between her and my daughter, and that I should give the necklace back to my daughter, and that she's free to do with it whatever she wants. I refused and told her to knock it off, but she argued that even if my daughter isn't saying anything, what I'm doing, withholding the necklace, is not right and is controlling and selfish. I bluntly told her I don't trust my daughter with the necklace, especially seeing how she, Lisa, keeps trying to get in possession of it. That's plain foolishness. She was shocked by my statement and started cold-shouldering me, saying I'm treating her as if she's not worthy of respect and decent treatment. Not the a-hole, and I'm glad you stepped in and got it back. That's some really poor behavior, manipulating a child to get a keepsake away from her because you want it for yourself. Your wife has no respect for your daughter, and it's hard to see that getting better. That she's done this and worn the necklace right in front of you, even after the first incident, is concerning. Not sure this can be fixed, even with counseling. Not the a-hole. It's not your wife's place to say that she's almost like a mother to your daughter. Your daughter is the only person in a position to determine that, and I think she'll only be able to do it once she's much older and on her own. That's a messed up situation right there. Not the a-hole. Your wife's behavior is neither healthy or normal. She's manipulative and narcissistic. Ignore these traits at your own peril. It's not just about the necklace. Do you not see that Lisa's using your daughter's love for her to manipulate her? I guarantee you this is not the only thing that Lisa's manipulated your daughter into giving her or doing for her. It's just the thing that is obvious enough you've noticed it. Not the a-hole for dealing with the necklace, but you need to deal with the root issue, your underhanded manipulative wife. My 34 female, brother-in-law's girlfriend Faye, 32 female, recently got a new job. She got her master's in 2020 and never stops talking about it. My husband, 36, Jack, has noticed the same thing, and he has said his brother Luke, 32, talks about it too. It gets on our nerves, but we tolerate it because we know how excited Faye is about her degree, and now this new job, which she also won't stop talking about because, as she says, she wouldn't have gotten it if she didn't pursue her master's, since it's a requirement. We had them over for dinner last night with my parents and my father-in-law and mother-in-law. Once again, Faye brings up her new job. It doesn't start for another couple of weeks. She works in education, so her contracts are based on the school calendar. And she was talking about all the things she gets to do now that she really wanted to. She mentioned it being a life goal. I asked her what was next. She asked what I meant. I asked her about things like kids or marriage, since they've been together for 3 years now. She said she didn't want to rush into marriage or kids until she had her goals in order, but marriage was something she and Luke had been seriously discussing. I asked when she'd have time for kids, marriage, with her career goals. She said she'd make time. I said kids are a lot of work. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I told her that when I was pregnant, it wasn't feasible financially or logically to continue working as an STNA, so I quit at 26. Faye said that she doesn't want kids she can't provide for, and she likes relying on herself because so many stay-at-home moms are financially trapped when they stop working and can't leave if the marriage falls apart for whatever reason. I'll be honest, I was offended by that. I told her not all of us are trapped. She agreed, but said you never know and should depend on yourself, even in marriage. Luke was nodding and agreeing. I said it would also give you more to talk about other than your job. Faye asked if I had a problem with her talking about her job. I said no, but honestly, it's the only thing she seems to have that's mildly interesting. Everyone else talks about kids, home life, vacations, family, hobbies. But all you talk about is your degree, education, and this new job of yours. And I told her it was kind of boring. Faye said, then I won't bore you any further, and asked my in-laws how installing wood floors was going. We all moved on past the conversation until later that night. After Luke and Faye left, my mother-in-law told me I was rude. I told her I was telling the truth because we are all tired of hearing about it. Jack agreed. But mother-in-law said while that was true, it's still an accomplishment no one looked me up and down in this family has done yet, and I seemed jealous. I said I wasn't jealous but offended by some things she said. Mother-in-law told me I was only offended because Faye was right. Jack said she was right, but it was obvious she was directing those comments at me in a judgmental way. And my parents agree with me. Am I the a-hole? Everyone else talks about kids, home life, vacations, family, hobbies. It is just too rich that your first 4 examples of different topics involve your children. Perhaps you should reflect on how much you talk about your job as a stay-at-home mom. Sounds like it's about 80% of your conversations. Yes, the a-hole. Yes, the a-hole. And Faye handled that appropriately by dismissing you. I think I love her. Yes, the a-hole. You started harassing her about children and marriage because you're jealous. Yes, the a-hole for many reasons. You never ask a woman when she is going to have kids. It might be a sensitive topic, and it's none of your business. What if she doesn't want to have kids at all? For some people, being a woman doesn't mean being a mom, and that's totally okay. What she said about stay-at-home moms is true. You might not be trapped or feel that, but it is undeniable that if you make your own money, you have a lesser chance to be trapped in a relationship. So I don't think you being offended by that statement is right. She accomplished something that she feels proud of. Of course she is going to talk about it. I bet you talk about your kids because you are proud of them, just the same as she is proud of her education. Next time, maybe think through what you're going to say, so you don't come across as a total a-hole. I've been married to my wife for 13 years. We have a 14-year-old son who is a freshman in high school. He is a very well-behaved and well-rounded kid. Doesn't give us any issues. My wife and I both have successful careers. We came from almost nothing and have built a beautiful life together. Financially, we are doing better than we ever have and are extremely grateful. A few days ago, she had mentioned to my son that he should consider getting a summer job since he'll be 15 by then. I didn't think anything of it. I had a job at his age. Then she said to him that she'd really appreciate it if he did get a job, because she'd like it if he were to start contributing to paying for groceries and paying the mortgage. I was stunned beyond belief. When he left his room, I asked my wife if she was insane. Not a good move on my part. There is absolutely no reason I'd expect my son to go out and earn money to contribute to paying for groceries and a mortgage when he is a kid. She said he needs to learn about hard work and understand how much work it is to be able to afford what we have. I disagreed and told her that he is a child. He does not need to pay for the food he eats or the roof over his head until he is out on his own at 18. She completely blew up at me, told me I am enabling him to start mooching off of us, etc. I am extremely against him contributing, and nothing like this has ever been brought up before, and was completely out of the blue. I don't think I'd ever accept any sort of money from my son for food or a mortgage that he is not responsible for. She disagrees and thinks I'm crazy for enabling our child, when we are providing for him as normal parents should. He has a savings account that he deposits money into from birthdays, holidays, etc., and saves for whatever big things he wants. He can get a job and wants to work. I refuse to allow him to give us money for things we need to provide him with. Your wife is nuts. He's a child. Taking care of him and providing food and shelter is a parent's job. If she didn't want to do that, then she shouldn't have married someone with a child. Do not let her take money from your son. There's nothing wrong with him getting a job, but he should be putting it in the bank. Your kid didn't sign up for your mortgage. You and your wife did. Maybe you could remind her that she's legally responsible for putting a roof over your kid's head, along with keeping him fed. She doesn't get to guilt him for this or ask him to be financially responsible for any of this. As background, my sister has always been a problem child. It started as a rebellious teenager, and as she got older, she became increasingly narcissistic. She speaks in a fake European accent, exaggerates her importance and beauty, talks down to people she deems beneath her, particularly our family, service workers, etc., is unable to keep relationships, and is an alcoholic. Overall, she is totally insufferable. She is physically attractive to many men, so she is able to easily jump from relationship to relationship and snare men in to support her and her extremely expensive lifestyle, travel, beauty products, high fashion. She is currently working on her third divorce, currently separated. She has a teenage son who lives with his father and stepmother and has chosen to not keep in touch with her. She is an absolute drama queen. She is a compulsive liar and creates stories, mostly about her exes, claiming they were sexual deviants, aggressive, embezzlers, after our family money, etc., as well as her past employers, as she can't keep a job for more than a few months. These stories are all presented without any evidence and as one-sided stories. We never hear much from the exes. My father is largely rational and stopped believing her stories and victimization a long time ago. But my mother, who is rather uneducated and unsophisticated, a beauty queen from a third world country who married my father early and has never worked herself, believes much of what my sister says and even seems to relish in the gossip and drama. This has created a lot of tension between my parents, who are hardly on speaking terms themselves. My sister and my mother are very similar in the sense that they are both extremely entitled and believe they are entitled to privileged lives of luxury because of their beauty. In a way, my sister seems to be a younger version of my mother. Both are constantly gossiping and passing judgment about everyone. When I push my mother, she agrees that my sister may have some issues, but in the end, she continues to support and enable her. Privately with me, my parents have asked where I think things went wrong with her. They often blame themselves, saying that they left her alone too long with babysitters when she was young. They didn't. Or that they weren't generous enough. They were, trying to determine where things went wrong. Due to her most recent separation, she had to move in with my parents. It seems they can't go more than a few weeks without my sister raising some drama. Examples are her getting fired from her job because she uncovered some international embezzlement scheme the CEO was orchestrating, or her getting news that her son is being SM by her ex-husband's wife's family. She got fired from her last job because she claims her boss's wife found her too beautiful and was jealous. She talks about how her second husband is trying to hire someone to K her. While she has been living at my parents' house, she has been actively very disrespectful, bringing her constant stream of men who she meets online home, coming home at all hours of the night, drinking excessively, taking my parents to expensive fine dining and having them pay, etc. All of this has been pushing my parents apart even further. The final straw came last week when my sister has now claimed that my father's brother, our uncle, M her when she was 6 years old. She has never spoken about this before over all these years. It only came up because my parents are currently involved in a separate beef with the same uncle. As a side note, my sister has claimed in the past that other distant male family members have flirted with her. Again, all without evidence and as one-sided stories. But my mother has completely latched on to this story. She already dislikes this uncle, and it has now become her aha moment, as she believes that all of my sister's outrageous behavior and ruined lives, her lost grandchild, is due to this uncle on my dad's side M her when she was 6. My mother is now planning on calling the police and exposing this uncle. As a result, my dad has lost his crap. Although his relationship with his brother is currently strained, he is not about to support this accusation and risk shaming his brother to his large extended family. My father has told me that he may divorce my mother over this. They just had their 50th anniversary and move in with me and my wife. I personally don't believe my sister. She has lied her entire life, and I am bewildered to why my mom constantly believes her. My sister just seems to love drama and chaos and constantly brings it into her life whenever she is feeling bored or without attention. How can I convince my mother of this? Is there anything I can do to help this situation? Your mother shares many of the same negative traits as your sister. Expecting her to stop enabling your sister or facilitating her lunacy is not realistic. While it may be hard for you to watch this happening, remember that your mother is certainly not an innocent victim in this. You can't save people from themselves. Since your dad seems to have more sense and is considering divorcing your mother, if your wife is amenable, you could offer him a temporary place to stay should he decide to leave. But I would set firm boundaries with him that your sister is not welcome in your home. Drop the rope with your mother and sister. They are toxic and your life would be better without the endless drama. We have a parking lot at my workplace, and there are a few prime spots close to the door. Most of them are reserved for managers, etc., but one is unreserved and works on a first-come, first-served type situation. Most of the time I park there because I have an old knee injury, so the closer the better and more convenient. It's obviously the spot everyone wants, so I always make sure to try to get in a bit earlier so I could grab it. One of my coworkers is pregnant. Don't have the slightest clue how far, but she's showing and has complained about how packed the parking lot gets, which forces her to park a distance from the door. Basically, she's been going around asking people if they could leave that space open for her. She's never asked me directly, but left a note on my desk a couple days ago asking the same. The next day I parked in the spot like always, and she came by my office to ask if I saw her note. I told her I did, but unfortunately, if the spot is open, I'm going to take it. Like, I get it, I wasn't going to fight over the spot, but if she wants it, she should just wake up early. She tried arguing a bit, but eventually left. She lodged an unofficial complaint to the boss, who told me about it, but doesn't want to get involved. I've been catching glares and some obvious gossiping murmurs from a couple coworkers about it. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Pregnancy is not a disability, and the spot isn't for disabled people. If she wants the spot so badly, she can do what you do and arrive early. Nobody has a right to claim a spot or ask coworkers not to use it. I think you actually have an HR case against her for what she did and for turning the office against you. That's harassment and probably more. I've carried 2 children and would never behave that way. Not the a-hole. I'm currently pregnant, and if I want a good spot at work, I have to get my butt here really early or walk further. I'm not disabled. If she is having that many problems pregnant, she can get a temporary handicap from her doctor and take it to the DMV for a tag. You take the effort to get there early to get the spot. If she really wanted it, she would put forth the same effort. And who's to say if you didn't take the spot, someone else would not take it anyway? It's first come, first serve. Not the a-hole. Accommodations for pregnancy at work are a thing under ADA guidelines, so her talking to the boss about a closed parking spot could fall under that umbrella. Sounds like he wasn't convinced. But you realize that pregnancy is not permanent, right? So you could allow her the spot, or really just not zoom in early every single day to snag it. If someone else does, then she has to deal with them, until she goes out on leave. That probably would have left you in a better situation.